Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Nessa Rose and today I'm going to be talking about 10 things that I wish I knew
once I make my move
before studying abroad. For those of you who are wondering why I am qualified to talk about this topic, I am just going to speak of my own experience. For anyone who doesn't know me, I am 23 years of age. I'm Irish and I live and study here in Italy. I'm studying dentistry. I'm in my 5th year. I'm making this video basically for what I would have liked to hear as an 18-year-old before moving here. Before I get started, on my channel I'm sharing like a small bit about my life and how it is studying and living here abroad and traveling in my free time. So if any of that interests you, you can check out my channel, you can subscribe, like whatever you want to do. So this is just from my personal experience, and also I won't be going into like my specific course or anything like that. It's just going to be very general advice that no matter where I thought I was going to study, that I would have liked to know, because I remember when I was making my decision to study abroad, I was looking at a lot of different places in Europe. So I think that this advice is applicable to the majority of them, to be honest. But if you have any more questions or queries, or if you want to share your own experience, you can, of course, in the comments down below. So let's get into it. 1 through 10, there's no specific order or preference pattern at all. It's just what came to my head when I was like sitting down and actually thinking about this and being pragmatic about it, and essentially just putting myself in my shoes where I was 5 years ago and what I would have liked to hear. The first thing that I wish that I knew before studying abroad, title of the video, is going to be that your self-worth is not linked to what you're studying or where you're studying it or what age you're studying it at or anything like that. And to some people, they might be like, oh, that's a very basic thing. Why is that in your top 10 things to know from studying abroad? I'm saying that because, unfortunately, the education system that we have in place in Ireland is not fair to everyone. And some people don't get the rewards for the work that they put in. It's not reflected. Maybe an exam goes bad, or that day the marking scheme changes. It's small things that you don't think have an effect that add up, and it can leave you 1 point away from getting your dream course. If you don't get your course and your confidence is knocked, it is not a reflection of you and your self-worth. It is not your fault. And please do not do yourself the disservice of thinking that it's a problem with you, because unfortunately, wherever you go, sometimes the system does not work perfectly. How you treat yourself, how you treat others, how you treat your environment, how you respect others is a lot more important than what number you are on a page and what % you got on a maths test for a degree that's not going to use that. To be kind to yourself, because it's not your fault. My second thing that I knew before studying abroad was that you will make friends. That for me was the most nerve-wracking thing. I was like, I'm gonna go here and nobody's gonna be able to understand me. What if they don't understand sarcasm? Everyone's just gonna think I'm an absolute cow. Especially if you're studying abroad, you will make friends from all over the planet. It is the most wonderful thing ever. I can't quantify the lessons that you learn from just experiencing a complete melting pot of different cultures and people. Also, like when you go to college, you're going to meet people automatically who have more aligned interests with you than in secondary school or primary school or anything like that, because you've all picked this course out of your own choice. Automatically then you have something in common with them. In my own personal experience anyway, I really have just made friends here for life that I can't begin to imagine what my life would be like if I hadn't met them. I've gone on fantastic holidays and met wonderful people and learned different languages and cultures and met so many fantastic people from all over the planet that I know when we all go our separate ways from college, I will still be in contact with them, because it's a shared experience, and like you're also, the majority of the time, all away from home. So even that alone will help bond one another. But you will make friends. That was my number one thing that I was like, I'm not gonna make any friends. And it's gonna be so nice in years to come to go and visit one another wherever we end up in the world, be it here in Italy or back in our own countries or somewhere else. It's one of my favourite things about studying abroad, if not my favourite thing. My third tip is going to be that you are far more capable than you think you are. You will only really understand what you're capable of doing when you push yourself out of your comfort zone, when it's awkward, when it's uncomfortable, and you really get to know how you're able to cope with these things. And I will say that it's very case dependent probably. Like, I know people who are home birds and would not like the idea of being away from home for an extended period of time. Like, I moved here at 18, didn't know the language, didn't know the culture, norms, anything like that, and flourished. And now I'm 5 years on, know the language, love the culture, love the people. It's a risk that you take, but just to know that you are far more capable than you think you are of these things. And yeah, like, great things happen outside your comfort zone. So the fourth thing that I wish I knew would be that it is difficult and it will be hard. You will have to work harder abroad when you don't have that physical support network that you would at home. It's a new language, it's a new culture. I mean, there's two ways of looking at it. Like, I personally prefer my point 3 when I'm saying that you are well capable and to have a positive spin and outlook on it. But then just to be a bit realistic about it as well, as that it is tough. In my opinion, it's more than worth it, but I feel it's character dependent as well. My dad loves the phrase, when the going gets tough, the tough get going. And I know that that's not the case for everybody. I suppose it's difficult when you do have a hard day and you are however many miles away from home. It's not like being at home in Ireland where you can just get a train or a bus and just fly home for the weekend. Mom will do your laundry and make your meals for you for the following week. It's not like that at all. And in that way, it is more difficult. Because personally, I haven't had the experience of studying at home. You kind of know no different. Like, you know yourself if you'll be able for that. And just to be aware of it, to be honest. My fifth tip is like a continuation of my fourth one, in that on the days when it is difficult, your why has to be a good solid why. On the days when you start to doubt yourself and, for want of a better phrase, when shit hits the fan, your why has to be much bigger than, well, this is too difficult, I'm going to give up and go home. Why am I studying this? Why am I going here? Why am I going to all the effort and the lengths to study here? The why and the motivation behind what you're studying and why you're studying it, in my experience, has got to be a good one. Your why has to beat all of that. It has to beat the self-doubt. And there's going to be days when you're going through the motions and everything, but at the end of the day, you know deep down, I am doing this for me. It will be worth it 10,000 times over. So just keep going. My sixth point is that you will get a hang of the culture, get a hang of the language wherever you go. In my personal experience, the best way of learning the language and the culture is by complete and total immersion. Making friends who are from that country, that culture, preferably friends that are patient and will explain things to you. But in my experience anyway, if people ask you something about your country and you're away from home, or you're even at home, you do feel very patriotic about where you come from. You're proud of it. So I find that anyway with my Italian friends, they're really nice and patient with helping. And I noticed a rapid improvement in my language when I had a wonderful flatmate and some great friends who were just really patient and corrected me and helped me with the language and the pronunciation, because my God, the pronunciation is hard at the start. When you think about it, the language that you're learning, like especially Irish and English, the phonetics are completely different to Italian. I did some brutal pronunciations at the start. Some words that I say it now, like my friends will just repeat it and laugh at me and just be like, what do you mean by that? And I'm like, oh, come on. So they'll teach me. And I love when my friends from abroad come and visit and I get to be a little tour guide and show them around and just be proud of where you come from. What I'm saying is just to reassure that you will get the hang of the country, the customs, no matter what. And she'll be flying it in no time. Even something as funny as like our greeting here is always a kiss on either cheek, whereas at home in Ireland you'd be like, what's wrong with you, if someone's doing that. And it just becomes kind of second nature after a while. So yeah, don't worry, you'll get the hang of it. My 7th thing that I wish I knew before going abroad, I need to stop would be with regards to homesickness. So this is something that I didn't really think about until I moved away, and people were like, oh, you're feeling homesick, blah, blah, blah. And I hadn't experienced it because my course is so incredibly busy that I didn't even have time to feel homesick. That I was just constantly doing things. We had exams, we had clinic, and I have my own work to do outside of college. So I would say that I didn't really experience that. But it's weird because you don't experience it until, how many times can I say the word experience? But just before you're about to go home, like it'll be Christmas time. And like the first week of December, you know you're going home in 3 weeks' time. But you'll start feeling homesick because of like, oh, and when I go home, I'll be doing X, Y, Z. And then you're like, oh, well here I can't really do X, Y, Z. I kind of miss that. And then you start feeling homesick, but you're like, stop it, you're going to be home in 3 weeks. I would say as well, in terms of homesickness, it's a natural progression of life. Like the majority of people that I know have emigrated and hopefully will return to Ireland, but it's like a natural progression to go abroad. And I think it's fantastic to be able to go abroad and learn things. At the end of the day, if you are just feeling extremely homesick, just to remember that you are a flight away from home. We're so lucky to have FaceTime and WhatsApp. If I'm feeling homesick, I'll just call my mom or dad or my brother, wherever they are in the world, and chat to them. Because for a lot of people, it's not exactly the location of their home, it's the people that are at home that matter. So just like carving time out and making time for them. We're just very lucky. We have this wonderful opportunity to be able to travel in this day and age as well. Like there's so many positives from it that like feeling homesick is not really a big deal in the grand scheme of things. Number 8 is going to be that on the days that it's tough, that there's other people in the same boat as you. Your friends here are also in a different country and away from home, and they're always available to talk to as well. And if you're struggling with something, they're more than likely as someone in your class or that you're friends with or that you know here who is also going through the same thing, and the tough times are temporary. You'll help each other get through it and you'll be a support to lean on one another. So on a day where you're not feeling great, your friend will help you pull through it and vice versa. I would say that like it's always good to remember when you look back at the end once you've finished, you're going to look back on the good times. You're not going to remember the hard days, the difficult days where you wanted to give up or anything like that. You're going to remember the trips that you went on, the laughs that you had with your friends, the things that you learned, the funny stories, the funny memories. You're not going to remember, oh geez, this exam is really hard and I'm really struggling with it, or just had a crap day today or anything like that. You're not going to remember that. You're going to remember the good things. You're going to have your rose-tinted glasses on looking back. In the tough times, you know that they're only temporary, and you have people around you who are in a similar boat that you can all help one another out. The 9th thing that I wish I knew, you should document it all. You should document every single section of your journey, be it just for yourself or if you want to put it somewhere else. Personally, I was brutal for the first 3 years. I've only started like this year and like last year in actually properly documenting my trips and things that I've done because I'm into photography and videography. And I also didn't feel confident at the start as well. I do regret not keeping like a video diary or a physical diary. Now I do have photographs and I do make like photo books for each year that I really like, that are really nice to look back on. When I'm saying as well to document these things or whatever, it's just for yourself. It's not for other people. I don't post 99.999% of things that I do or see or people that I meet or anything like that. Kind of like to live a nice low profile life. But I have started making YouTube videos, so that's a bit contradictory, isn't it? There's no like performative thing about documenting yourself. You keep that in your own camera roll. You don't have to show other people. But I'm saying for yourself to document it, to see how far you've come. And then the 10th thing that I wish I knew, or that I would advise myself looking back, be patient and just have an open mind, no matter what. You'll be given opportunities, or you'll go out there and make those opportunities for yourself, to make the most of them, to be kind to every single person you come across, and just to enjoy every second of it. Respect yourself, respect others, and respect your environment. As of this moment in time, they're the 10 things that have come to my head. As I said before, if you have any comments, queries, even down below in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, leave it a like. If you know of anyone who would be interested in studying abroad or would even be curious, or anyone who's at an age in which they're trying to decide what they want to do, where they want to do it, anything like that, share this video. I hope you enjoyed. Take care of yourselves and thank you very much for taking the time out to watch. Bye. Slán.